There are people around you who cannot be trusted, not because they openly show their malice, but because they hide it well. A man who strikes in anger is easier to guard against than one who strikes with a smile. Beware most of those who come clothed in charm, in kindness, in the appearance of concern. The louder enemy announces himself. The quieter one works in the shadows. I have learned that men rarely show you what they are. They show you what they think will serve them. If you are not watchful, you will give your trust, your time, your heart to one who was never worthy of it. Carl Jung, though born long after my own time, spoke of this truth, that what is hidden within men, the shadow, can corrupt without being seen. Those who pretend to care may dismantle you piece by piece, not by shouting, but by smiling. There are certain dispositions you must learn to recognize. The first is the perpetual victim. Such a man takes no responsibility for his own life. Every injury is another's fault, every misfortune a plot against him. You may feel pity for him, and that is noble, but pity that blinds you is not virtue. A man who forever plays the victim does so not to heal, but to rule. If he remains broken, he compels you to carry his burden. To confront his own soul would be to lose the only power he has over you, your sympathy. Such men do not desire to be made whole, and if you remain too close, you will begin to feel guilty simply for being unbroken yourself. The second kind is the charming mirror. He reflects back to you what you wish to see. He praises your thoughts, agrees with your every word, and seems to be the perfect companion. Yet if you look closely, you will find no substance. He is not loyal to you, but to your approval. The moment you cease to admire him, he will vanish or turn against you. What you thought was friendship was only your own reflection shining from his mask. Trusting such a man is like grasping smoke. There is nothing to hold. The third is the subtle underminer, the one who appears supportive yet sows quiet doubt. He will not strike at you directly. He will nod when you speak of your hopes, then whisper concern, as if fear were wisdom. He will call hesitation prudence and weakness maturity. And if you are not vigilant, his quiet poison will work in your soul. You will begin to think his limitations are your own. You will shrink your life to fit his fear. Do not hate these people. They too are human, but see them clearly. A man's speech tells you little of his soul. Watch instead what your soul feels in his presence. Do you feel strengthened, or do you feel weakened? Do you feel lighter or more burdened? These feelings are sentinels. Do not dismiss them. Remember this always. People do not present themselves as they are, but as they believe will serve their purpose. Even within your own heart, watch for these same shadows. Have you not, at times, used pity to gain advantage? Have you not worn a pleasing mask to win approval? Have you not disguised fear as wisdom? The faults of others are mirrors for your own. See them, and you will be free from their power. The task is not to grow suspicious of every man, but to grow awake, to live in clarity, neither bitter nor naive. Keep your soul steady so you may walk among both friend and foe without losing your peace. Let your judgment be guided not by words, but by truth. Withdraw quietly from those who erode your spirit, and give your trust only where a man's character, not his performance, has proved itself. Imagine Marcus Aurelius sitting across from you, not as an emperor giving orders, but as a friend, speaking in that calm, measured voice
that makes you feel as if time itself has slowed down. He doesn't rush his words, because wisdom never hurries. He looks at you with that patient gaze, as if he has seen this pattern in 100 men before you, and in himself too. "My friend," he begins, "there are people who pretend to help you rise, yet they secretly fear you standing taller than them. They do not hold you up out of love, but out of fear of being left behind. They whisper advice, they pat you on the shoulder, they say they only want the best for you, yet all the while they make sure you never grow strong enough to walk without them. And if you did, they would feel as if a part of them had died. Their pride cannot bear the thought of becoming irrelevant, so they call it guidance, but what they give you is a cage. They clip your wings and then tell you it's for your safety." He pauses, letting you picture these people in your own life, the ones who seem supportive, yet your spirit feels oddly smaller around them. He continues, "If you ever succeed without their hand on your shoulder, you tear away the invisible chain they've wrapped around your heart. That chain is their power over you, and when it breaks, they feel as though they have lost themselves. So they stop you from flying, not out of hate, but out of fear. And fear disguised as friendship is the most dangerous kind." Then his gaze sharpens a little bit, as though he's naming another shadow you've half seen but tried to ignore. "There is another type," he says quietly, "the secret competitor. They smile when you win, but the smile does not reach their eyes. They tell you they're proud, yet somehow the conversation always ends with them telling their own story, a little louder, a little brighter than yours. Every step forward you take reminds them of how far behind they feel. They do not despise you, they despise what they see reflected back in you, their own unfulfilled potential."
You nod, because you've met this person too. You felt the forced praise, the way they clap only when they're standing on higher ground. They copy your ideas and call them their own, Marcus says, almost sadly. They give compliments with hooks in them. And when you stumble, they sigh with secret relief and say, "I feared this might happen. I only wanted to protect you." They wear the mask of a friend, but their heart measures your every move as though life were a contest. They don't wish to walk beside you. They wish to walk ahead, even if it means tripping you when no one is looking. His words feel heavy because they carry no anger, only truth. "Never trust someone who cannot clap when it is not their turn to win," he says softly. "It is not true friendship, it is rivalry dressed in kindness." But he doesn't stop there. He leans closer, voice quieter now, as if to tell you the most dangerous secret of all. The last types are harder still to see. They are not loud. They are not jealous in ways the world recognizes. They do not grip you with chains. You hand them the key to your heart willingly, because they seem wise, compassionate, even holy. These are the ones Jung feared the most, the ones who look like healers, but whose true desire is to stand above you in spirit. You frown, unsure. What could be wrong with wisdom, with calmness? But Marcus continues, steady as a river. They speak of peace. They speak of enlightenment. They wear the robe of the philosopher, the language of the healer. But they have not slain their ego. They have only crowned it with jewels and called it divine. They dominate not by shouting, but by never raising their voice at all. They make you believe that your anger is a wound, your questions are a weakness, your humanity itself is something to be corrected. When you push back, they say, "You're projecting." When you cry out, they say, "This is your inner work." And when you dare to confront them, they retreat into silence and superiority, as if your pain is proof that they are above you. You realize as he speaks that you've heard this before, someone who dismissed your feelings under the guise of wisdom, someone who used calmness as a weapon. They do not want truth, Marcus says, they want control, without appearing to hold it. They do not argue because to argue would admit they stand on the same ground as you. Instead, they float above, untouchable, making you question your own soul. Their shadow leaks out, not as open pride, but as quiet judgment. They believe they are enlightened, and that you must remain forever beneath them, reaching upward. He lets that settle, and his voice softens again, almost fatherly. Be wary of those who claim they have transcended their ego, for most have merely hidden it under beautiful words. True wisdom does not make a man untouchable. It makes him humble, willing to learn, willing to walk beside you, not above you. The man who says, "I have no pride," often carries pride like a dagger under his cloak. For a long moment, he says nothing, letting the candlelight between you flicker, as if waiting for your thoughts to surface. Then he concludes with a truth both gentle and firm. Surround yourself with those who rejoice when you grow, even if it means you grow beyond them. Keep close the ones who clap when it's your turn to win and who do not shrink when you outshine them. And if you meet the calm ones who use their stillness to make you feel small, do not bow to them. Bow only to what is true and good, not to men who pretend to have killed their ego, but have only polished it into something harder to see. He leans back, almost smiling now, and remember this above all: no man can chain you unless you first hand him your wings. Let me speak to you as if I were Marcus Aurelius himself, sitting across from you, not as an emperor, but as a man who has seen how human nature reveals itself again and again. The faces change, the clothes change, the titles change, but the inner patterns never do. People will appear to guide you, to care for you, to lift you up, but their true aim is not always what it seems. The more you trust them to lead you, the more power they gain. Not power that helps you grow, but power that keeps you dependent, confused, and small. They don't seek equals, they seek students. They do not want healing, they want authority. And if you're not careful, you will mistake their calm exterior for wisdom when it is merely performance. There is a kind of person who wears the mask of the empath. They feel everything, or so they say. They sense energy, they read moods, they notice every change in your tone or posture. They cry easily. They comfort you often. At first, it feels like a blessing, like being truly seen, as if someone finally understands the deepest corners of your soul. But as time passes, it transforms into something else. What once felt like closeness becomes control. You begin to walk on eggshells around them. You find yourself adjusting your behavior so you don't disturb them, suppressing your true feelings so you don't hurt them. When you're frustrated, you hold back because they'll say, "That energy really affects me." And without even noticing, you stop expressing yourself. You begin to manage their emotions as though their pain is your fault. But their pain is not yours to carry. Carl Jung warned of this danger, that many who call themselves highly sensitive are projecting their own unhealed chaos outward and demanding the world rearrange itself around their wounds. These people do not seek true connection, they seek emotional safety, and they demand it at your expense. And if you fail to meet their demands, they break down. Suddenly you're insensitive. Suddenly you're the cold one, the unstable one, the one responsible for their spiral. But it isn't your spiral. It's theirs. They have never learned to hold it, so they hand it to you. If you are not careful, you may spend months, even years, trying to stabilize someone who refuses to take responsibility for themselves. You will mistake emotional chaos for depth. You will mistake sensitivity for purity. You will mistake control for closeness. And by the time you realize it, your identity will be tangled in someone else's emotional storm.
That is not love. That is psychological submission.
Jung's counsel was clear. Walk away. This kind of person will never tell you they are dangerous. They will only say they feel too much. And unless you are deeply rooted in your own soul, you will start to believe them. You will believe their pain is your fault, their chaos is your burden, their breakdowns are your responsibility. But they are not. You did not break them. You only got too close. Why do such people exist? Because they have never met their own shadow. And so, they make you carry it. They never faced the manipulative part of themselves, so they project it onto you. They never admitted their need for control, so they control others under the guise of love, care, or guidance. They never took responsibility for their pain, so they make it your duty to fix them. Such people are not rare, they are everywhere. They flourish in spaces where people lack self-awareness, where no one defends their own soul. Jung believed the only true protection is self-awareness, to see through the mask before you are trapped, to hear what is not being said, to walk away before you need proof, because once you see it clearly, you cannot unsee it. By now you recognize the pattern, the 6 kinds of people Jung warned you about: the chronic victim, the charming mirror, the quiet enabler, the hidden competitor, the spiritual narcissist, the empathic controller. Not because they are all evil, but because they are deeply unaware of themselves. And when a person refuses to see their own shadow, they will make you live inside it. They do not always come to destroy you outright. They come to feed from you. This is not moral failure. It is an unconscious survival pattern. Their psyche holds itself together by pushing its pain onto others, by seeking control when it feels weak, by creating confusion when clarity would force them to look in the mirror. And if you cannot recognize the pattern, you will think you are simply unlucky. You will think you are cursed to meet the wrong people. You will think life is punishing you. But Jung's voice and mine would say this: you are not being punished. You are being mirrored. You attract what you have not yet faced within yourself. Let that truth settle deeply in your mind. If you constantly attract manipulators, perhaps there is still a part of you afraid to stand firm in your own truth. If you are always surrounded by victims, perhaps there is a part of you that needs to be needed in order to feel valuable. If you are betrayed again and again by charming people, perhaps you still value their approval more than your own clarity. This lesson is not about others alone. It is about you. It is about the places within you that tolerate such behavior, the parts of you that confuse control for love, performance for wisdom, sensitivity for purity. If you do not meet your own shadow, if you do not learn to see your own hunger for validation, your own fear of conflict, your own reluctance to stand alone, then you will keep walking into the same traps. This is why you must turn inward. Not to condemn yourself, but to free yourself. To know where your boundaries are and why you so often let them fall. To recognize the moment you start excusing what you should not excuse. To feel the first tremor of manipulation and walk away. Not because you hate them, but because you love your own soul enough not to hand it over. Do not be surprised that such people exist. The world is full of them and always will be. What matters is not erasing them, but becoming unshakable in their presence. They cannot use what you refuse to give. They cannot break what you have strengthened from within. So meet your shadow. See the parts of yourself you would rather not see. The pride that craves applause, the fear that avoids confrontation, the need to feel indispensable. Embrace these things honestly, for when you face your own darkness, no one can use it against you.
The masks of others no longer deceive you when you have taken off your own. This is the work. Not to rage against manipulators, not to despise the unaware, but to grow so deeply rooted in yourself that their games no longer touch you. Then and only then will you stop attracting them. Then you will no longer tolerate what once fooled you. Remember, the shadow attracts the mask. Integrate your shadow and the masks will fall away. Do not wait for proof that someone is harming you. The cost of that proof is often your peace, your years, even your soul. Trust what you see early. Trust the subtle feeling that says, this is not love. This is not guidance. This is control. And walk away, not with anger, but with clarity. Not because they are unworthy of compassion, but because your life is too precious to be lived inside someone else's storm. To protect your soul is not selfish. It is the truest act of wisdom. And wisdom, as both I and Jung have told you, begins with self-awareness.
Imagine me speaking to you as if we were sitting quietly in the corner of a cafe, steam rising from a cup of coffee between us. Not lecturing you, not thundering with dramatic motivation, but simply telling you something I've learned, something I wish someone had told me earlier. Listen not as if I am preaching, but as if I am confiding, as though I were Marcus Aurelius, whispering what life has taught me about human nature, about strength, about why you feel so tired of bending for everyone else. Jung once said the shadow is everything you've repressed, the parts of you people told you were too much, too selfish, too intense, too unlovable. So you buried them. You decided to be agreeable. You trained yourself to smile when you didn't feel like smiling, to nod when you wanted to protest, to help when you were already exhausted. You became good, patient, polite, forgiving. You became whatever the world rewarded. But here is what no one told you about this deal. While you were earning acceptance, you were losing yourself. You lost the sharp edge that kept you safe. You lost your instincts, the voice inside that could spot dishonesty before it touched you. You lost your natural defenses, because when you silence your anger, you tolerate disrespect. When you silence your intuition, you ignore red flags. When you silence your self-protection, you keep letting in people who disguise themselves as friends or lovers, people who say the right words while slowly draining the life out of you. But Jung wasn't asking you to become cold. He wanted you to become whole. He wanted you to stop pretending that your love is infinite, that your patience has no end, that your trust should be given freely to anyone who simply smiles at you. It should not. Not everyone deserves access to you, especially not people who live unconsciously, who repeat the same harmful patterns year after year without ever waking up. Some people don't want to grow. They don't want to examine themselves. They just learn new language to hide their same old habits. If you keep choosing harmony with others over alignment with yourself, you will keep bending for people who would never stretch for you. And here is the beautiful part. If these words sting, if they hit you in the chest, it means you're waking up. It means the old version of you, the one who needed to be liked, the one who needed to fix everyone, the one who swallowed discomfort just to keep the peace, is finally tired. That version of you is ready to die, so the real you can live.
So how do you move forward? First, examine the people around you. Ask yourself, who drains me? Who leaves me confused? Who makes me feel I must constantly explain myself just to be treated with basic respect? If someone always needs endless context before they treat you right, they're not confused, they're avoiding accountability. Let them go quietly.
without dramatic speeches, without guilt. Jung believed withdrawal is one of the strongest acts of consciousness, not because you hate them, but because you refuse to keep abandoning yourself. Second, stop silencing your shadow. Stop performing purity and perfection to earn love. Let yourself say no without apology. Let yourself get angry when someone crosses a line. Let yourself ask, what are your intentions when something feels off? Your shadow isn't evil, it's protective. It remembers who you are when the world tries to make you forget. Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. If you truly want peace, stop performing for it. Welcome the part of you that can walk away, the part that can say, I'm not available for this anymore. Third, stop explaining yourself. The right people, the ones who love you, respect you, and move with clarity, won't need paragraphs to understand your boundaries. They'll feel them. They'll match them. The toxic ones, however, will demand explanations. They'll twist your words. They'll guilt trip you. They'll paint you as the problem. Let them. Jung never taught us to convince unconscious people to see our light. He taught us to be so grounded that their confusion can't touch us anymore. Fourth, trust what you felt the first time. Most people aren't actually confused, they just hope they're wrong. But you weren't wrong. That instant when you felt the energy shift, that pause before trusting someone, that gut feeling that said something isn't right here, that wasn't paranoia, that was your subconscious reading patterns long before your rational mind caught up. Start listening to it. Because the people Jung warned us about don't walk in with warning labels. They walk in with flattery, with touching stories, with all the right words about healing and growth. They arrive dressed like allies. But time always reveals the truth, and by the time it does, you must be far enough away that the revelation costs you nothing. The final truth is this: Jung didn't want you to fear the world, he wanted you to stop fearing yourself. Stop fearing your own knowing. Stop treating your instincts as an enemy. The more of your shadow you integrate, the fewer toxic people will ever get close to you. Not because you're hiding, but because your energy no longer leaves the door unlocked for them. You stop explaining, you stop fixing, you stop justifying your standards. And without ever raising your voice, you become untouchable. No manipulator can reach you, no narcissist can fool you, no rival can rattle you, because you are now awake, you are whole, you are impossible to trick. And that is the person Jung and I, if I could speak as Marcus Aurelius, always wanted you to become. Do not confuse kindness with weakness. Do not confuse patience with permission. Your soul was never meant to be a doormat. You were not born to endlessly smooth over chaos created by others. You were born to stand in your own light, to honor your own boundaries, to carry both your gentleness and your fierceness without apology. When you stop betraying yourself for approval, when you stop performing peace and instead embody it, life changes. The right people find you. The wrong ones fall away. And you finally become what you were always meant to be. Calm, clear, unshakable. A person no storm can break.